I'm not friends with this. There we go.
Welcome to Inside Look. I'm Jeff Lyons, joined today by Alli Seaton, newest member of the 14 News sports team. Welcome, Alli. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm really happy to be here, Jeff.
Yeah, and you've gone to great lengths to make yourself sweat profusely on the job, right? You've been out, of course, we're recording this in July. Oh, it's hot anyway. You're at Ellis Park, Bossy Field. You haven't found a cool spot. Well, you went to the skating rink, though, didn't you?
Oh,
Did you do
yes, I
hockey?
was
There you
at
go.
Swander Ice
Good
Arena,
move.
and I was freezing.
Yeah.
So going from really, really hot to really, really cold, I said, this is not fun.
So you're in pursuit of double pneumonia is what you're saying. You're just
Hey, I
trying
get
to...
pneumonia once a year,
Okay.
so, like, maybe it's time.
Well, don't do it on my watch,
I'll
okay?
do my best.
Well, tell us the Alli Seaton story. I know you're from Eastern Tennessee, so kind of walk us through, growing up, wanting to get into television or broadcasting and so on and so on. Where does it all start?
Well, actually, I'm from a small town called Madisonville, Tennessee,
Yeah.
not Kentucky. I get thrown every time someone's like, go to Madisonville. I'm like, I can't do that, guys.
You're not going to be able to get there
won't make
today.
it back.
Right.
But, grew up in a small town, older brother, mom, dad. Never knew really what I wanted to do. Was told I'm smart enough to be a doctor, smart enough to do this. And I was like, okay, yeah, totally. I'll go to med school. So my entire high school track was health and science classes and all that. Good at it. I hated it.
Why did you hate it?
It just was boring to me. I wanted to do something more like, I guess medicine would be very hands-on, but I wanted something like physical and like running around. And
Yeah.
So I went to my freshman year. I went to the University of Alabama as a kinesiology and athletic training major.
Okay.
Was good at it. Didn't really like it.
Because, that seems hands-on to me.
It was. I mean, just something about like the science of it. I was like, this is stupid. It's not stupid. I just didn't like it.
See, I always just thought they looked at a big chart on the wall and then bent you accordingly. I guess there's a little more to it
There was a
than
lot
that.
to it. And then I changed to poli-sci and pre-law.
Okay.
Why? I don't know.
That's a really abrupt switch. Political science, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and maybe going into law. Well, everybody
Yeah,
says
I thought
that.
about like maybe sports law or something fun like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe work for like a major team, but
Yeah, negotiate contracts for various players.
and I thought that could be like fun. And then, well, I decided to transfer home after my freshman year. Went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Was still a political science major, but made some friends. Discovered journalism was a major. I didn't know that. And did I know? I grew up hating writing.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it. I enjoy it a lot more now, specifically script writing.
Right, you have to do
Goodness.
it, sure.
But made those friends and learned. I was like, wait, sports television. That could be a lot of fun because, you've met me, Jeff. I love to talk.
Yes, I know. That's why you're on the podcast today. If you can fill an hour, that would be wonderful for all. So you start doing the journalism thing, but you got the sports kind of in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And so then, and I want to take a little stop here because you told me yesterday you were a fire breather at some point in your career. Where did that come about?
So when I was in high school, I was ever since I was 2, actually, I was a baton twirler. And i.e. a majorette, many different names.
Right.
And since I was little, I learned how to twirl fire, which is just, the metal stick with fire on both ends.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool. Well, going into when I was 16 years old, one of my friends and my cousin started working at a haunted house. And funny enough, I had a panic attack in the haunted house because I got claustrophobic and had a meltdown. Well, I then have a job interview with the owner a few minutes later, and I was like, I'm just so sorry.
You got an interview for a job in a haunted house.
I did.
Wow.
It was really weird.
You have to have references, too?
I had recommendations, that's for sure.
Oh, that's good. All right.
But the wife, after the end of my first year as a scare actor, saw that I was a majorette and could twirl fire. Well, big thing at haunted houses is fire performers, fire performance. So they bring me back on the next year to be a fire performer. Lighting myself on fire and transferring flame to flame from my tongue, swallowing fire. But I was only 17 years old, Jeff.
Where does one practice setting oneself on fire without actually setting yourself on fire?
It's just trial and error. I never, I everyone always asks me how I do it, and I think it was just being a bold little 17-year-old that didn't like have an actual social life, and I was just
Yeah.
like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Okay. So and then you're spitting fire at people or breathing
Yes.
fire, right?
So they're teaching me how to do all of the regular everyday tricks and stuff, and then I was like, "Can I please breathe fire?" And they said, "No, you're 17." I said, "What if my mom says I can do it?" So they call my mom. The owner's like, she's not going to say yes. I said, "Just call my mom and talk to her." The quickest phone call ever. She goes, "If she's dumb enough to do it, let her do it."
Yeah.
Ever since then, knew how to fire breathe.
So what's the first time out like when they do that? I don't even know how it works. So you put something in your mouth and then you spit it out kind of like
Yeah,
that
you
or
could just kind of like
blow
spray it
Right.
as much as you can.
Yeah. And of course you don't want it to go down the wrong pipe,
Yeah,
right?
just continuously spit, don't breathe.
Right. What does it taste like?
So there was a running bit because people would always ask that.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like anything.
Not like gasoline or something.
No, and it's non-combustible fluid, by the way.
Right.
So don't be going out and using, alcohol.
Right.
and
No, I don't
gasoline
plan
and
to set
stuff.
myself on fire anytime soon. So
Ah,
unless we
could be
really get
fun.
desperate for
Would
something
be
here.
fun.
Right.
I think we should do it together.
So no.
But we always tell people at the house that we were like, "Oh, it's cotton candy juice. It
Okay.
tastes like cotton candy."
And they bought that hook, line, and
You know,
sinker.
so listen, I convinced so many people of so many different things when I was running around at that haunted house because they're like, "Yeah, she's the girl that plays with fire. Of course she knows exactly what she's talking about."
And so, don't you feel heat though when it goes flying out of your mouth?
You do,
in their little,
But as long as you
backdraft.
use a lot of force, also always go with the wind.
Yeah, I
One
see
time
that.
the wind shifted on me, singed my eyebrows a little.
Yeah,
But-
and what about the crowd? I mean, you must have to know what your firing
Yeah,
range
so
is,
typically
right?
you always keep your head up at an angle.
Right.
You tilt it to make sure that it's not going to go right at someone and anything. But if there's a moment where you start doubting your ability to keep that flame going, bail. Always bail.
And then, so how do you do that? You just put your hand over your mouth and it goes out?
So
or?
sometimes you hold the stick that has the flame on it in front
Right.
of your mouth and you can pull it away.
I see.
But what you can do is you can either just close your mouth or you can just spit all the fluid out on the floor, on the
Right.
ground. And
Yeah.
like typically you always have a fire safety with you, with a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket. It's not just me running around at 17 with an active flame just going
Well,
crazy.
it's good to know this was all done responsibly and under
was,
good
it was.
supervision. Well, I didn't mean to detour, but I had to ask.
No, you're
and I know
good.
people would be curious about that. I mean, of all the things, you're fire breather. So, and that must be kind of hard to live down then,
It
just
is
in your
impossible to
personal
live
life.
down. Like, I mean, the coolest I will ever be was when I was 17 years old.
No, I doubt that. I mean, I've seen you work on the air here. You're going to go do just fine. And if you have to burn something some night on the air, so,
I mean,
so be it.
I could. I actually, I have a bunch of friends that have fire blankets that I've met here, and they convinced me to rebuy the stuff
Yeah, of course.
and do it on the 4th of July.
Yeah, we're always looking for high dollar entertainment, especially when somebody else pays for it around here.
I'm not even getting paid. It's just fun.
I didn't mean to hijack the podcast here. So how'd you get to 14 News here? Then what was the process for you when you finished college? Did you intern someplace? Or?
So I interned during college
Yeah.
for a gray media station in Knoxville called WVLT, Channel
Mm-hmm.
8. They were the official station of the Tennessee Volunteers, and I loved every minute of it. And I was their sports intern, and they let me go live. They let me be on the sideline of Neyland Stadium for the Florida game. You know how big that is?
Yes, I do.
Crazy.
And you had like an actual press pass and everything, or did you just burn your way into the stadium?
I burnt my way in. No, I had a press pass.
Okay.
But it was great. I had 2 news internships, some other sports related media ones along the way. And then I graduated in December of 24. I graduated undergrad a semester early after changing my major 3 times and transferring universities, might I add.
Yeah.
And then I panicked and I went to grad school.
The grad school. And what for what degree this time? around?
Communication and information.
Oh, okay.
Masters of Science with a focus in journalism.
There you go. So at least in not
Exactly,
pyrotechnics or anything
because,
like that.
Like I said, I
okay.
changed my major so many times that
Yeah.
I felt behind. I didn't know everything everyone else knew that was going in the field at the same time as me, and I said, I want more time.
But we met a long time before you actually started here. Max Parker left in June, and we had known that you were coming. I think
Since February.
From February, yeah, had been here to the station and observing and
because
training
because
with
of
Max
grad
and-
school,
yeah.
Celeste actually found my reel because I made a Gray Media talent pool page for myself. She found me and then messaged me in last June, and I was like, oh, we'll just see what happens when I graduate grad school. Well, February, I email her because I was like, there's nothing. It's all quiet on the Western Front. I don't have a job yet.
Yeah.
And I do an interview that Friday, do an interview with the news director that Monday. And then she's like, I would offer you the job right now, but I legally can't. And I said, that's so fair. You're bluffing. Keep in mind, 5 minutes before, I picked up my cat and said, meet cornbread.
Right.
Did I know that she was going to offer me the sports position? No. And then a week later, I get a phone call while I'm on a bachelorette trip in Nashville. And Emily's like, hey, do you want the job? And I said, yes.
And so you took it.
So I took it.
And here you are.
You're right.
Now, I got to ask, and I don't mean to keep coming around to this, but were you responsible for entertainment at the bachelorette party vis-a-vis fire and or,
Sadly, no.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. I feel like that probably would have gotten like arrested or something.
Well, but that would have really stood out because I have a
Right.
few, and I've
I
never
don't
been
think
to
I
a
would have gotten in
bachelorette
trouble.
party. My daughter has been to a couple, and I've heard about these weekends in Nashville, and they get a little out of hand. But, if you had fire, I mean, that levels up for everybody, right?
I
Then
think it
everybody
does.
has to have a fire performer.
I mean, you need to be friends with someone that's comfortable with fire. It does help that my ability with fire safety comes from that my dad was an Eagle Scout and my brother reached the rank of Eagle Scout. So I grew up eating, sleeping, and breathing fire safety,
Yeah.
which you could
And
imagine
then later
the
just
conversation.
eating and breathing fire. So,
Yeah.
it all worked out.
It all worked out.
So what's your favorite sport? Did you play sports ever in your life?
I played golf. I did track and cross country, and I was a majorette, like I said. But in reality, I didn't actually play like any contact sports. I was invited to be on the rec league soccer team. I said, that's going to be so bad, you guys. But my favorite sport would have to be football because that's what really got me into it. Sitting on the sidelines of my high school football games in my little majorette uniform, freezing. But it was always so fun watching the players.
And you're right there ringside, when you're in the cheer squad or whatever you're doing, you can't get much closer without actually being in there.
Just there, and it was just so much fun. And we did basketball games too, and I just loved every minute of it. And I think back to something really funny about my sophomore year of high school. I wanted to be a teacher's aide so bad for this one teacher, Miss Krahala Fields, I think, and she was the journalism.
Oh.
For part of her day. She was
Right.
English, but the only opportunity she had was yearbook journalism, and she would just send me off with a camera sometimes, and I'm like, I loved it so much, but I didn't know what I was doing. Did I know that
Yeah,
was...
none of us do either. It's all about
Right.
looking like you know
And
what you're
I was
doing
just
here.
a TA. I didn't learn anything, and
Right.
then I went, all right, back to my medical stuff.
Right. Wow, that is a wild story that you have. And so I didn't expect that, which is a wonderful thing about doing these podcasts. You get to talk to somebody and find these things out. So you've been here a couple of weeks now. Probably by the time this runs or
month.
drops, you will have been here over a month. We got football season right around the
so
corner.
excited.
And, of course, you and Aaron Hancock will be out running ragged. And I'm sure he's been busy, telling you how to pronounce rights and all that sort of stuff.
Listen, me versus Mater Day. I sounded like a redneck the first time I went on air. I said, Mater Day.
Yeah, that
And
happens.
I was like, oh, no.
So, but if you can avoid the rookie errors, so much the better. But nobody's going to tangle with you once they find out about the fire thing. So, I'm impressed. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Whatever. Well, we're so glad that you joined the team here, and we look forward to everything you're going to do here over the coming years. And do think about some stunts, though. I mean,
Hey, I mean, you missed me doing some dance moves like yesterday in the studio in my heels, and Rob was just standing there going, how are you not breaking your ankle?
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought if she breaks her ankle, Rob's going to have to read sports. He shouldn't encourage you that way. But I didn't want to be the old fuddy-duddy, which I
Oh.
often am. So.
Hey, you are the tri-state's sweetheart. What do you mean?
Well, I've passed sweetheart. I'm the old fuddy-duddy, basically. So anyway, Alli, thanks so much for coming on with us this afternoon, or whatever time it is here on Inside Look. I know you got a show to do. I've got a show to do here in a minute in the studio. If you'd like to hear more of our Inside Look podcast, you can do that wherever you get your podcast. You can also watch on the 14 News YouTube channel and check out our companion podcast, What's the Trend with Aaron Weeks and Casey Mason. They need to get you on.
I would love
I mean,
it.
I just scratched the surface, and they will do a thorough deep dive.
Hey, my life gets really weird, Jeff.
And they're hip too. I mean, I'm like fuddy-duddy here. They're hip. They're going to ask you the right questions. You're going to mesh with them. I just have a feeling.
Just wait till you hear the story about me falling in Neyland Stadium, sliding across the concrete, but saving the news camera.
Yeah, you got to tell that. And see, that's the thing. You're a company person. Save the camera, right? Always. All right. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for listening to Inside Look.